week 21 of Designerama. We're going to focus on iterative design. And what you'll find, as we go through weeks of Designerama, and especially this week, is that there'll be some very common things that occur. And those will be, creating something, running it in front of users, iterating on it. And this week is going to try to very intensely focus on the iterative design. That should be your focus. What does it look like to improve upon designs, either giving your own reflection on them, user input, so on and so forth. When all else fails, focus on the iterative design. So you don't need to focus so much on user research this week unless you really like to. When it says to do user research or make up some findings, feel free to make up findings, but also feel free to get really cursory feedback. Go to the person next to you. There's going to be less of a focus on findings for the proper audience. So keep that in mind as you go through this, that it really is about taking one thing and improving upon it or changing it to test an idea. So day one is explore. Create multiple variations of something. And what you'll see as these go along is that they, as usual, they're standalone exercises, but also they build on each other. So there'll be a lot of either create two new things or build off of yesterday. So this one is where you start, create multiple variations, choose a small design problem. So one screen of an app, a call to action banner, sketch 3 to 5 distinct variations. And you can do this with pencil and paper, pen and paper, whiteboard, what have you. Change the layout, wording, color, interactions, push beyond your first idea. So even in this first version, think about what you've learned from your first distinct variation in creating your second one, or come up with a few ideas about how you think this could be solved and sketch them all out. But there is even an opportunity to think iteratively in sort of that micro scale as a designer. What you should end up with is a page, a file, a Figma board with all your different concepts. On day 2, compare the two versions with users. So take your designs from yesterday, put them in front of someone, one of your family members, a friend. You can put them up on LinkedIn. You can put them in a site. You go to Reddit, ask for people's opinions, but ask very focused questions and record 2 to 3 major takeaways. And that is just to get you in the habit of getting this feedback very, very quickly. Day 3, iterate, refine based on feedback. So take the feedback from yesterday and make specific refinements based on feedback. If you're not working with actual end users, you're not able to make it work because we're focused on iterative design. Simply, take a day and put the designs away and then come back to them the next day and iterate them based on your new understanding of the problem. Maybe it's an opportunity to secondary research where you're just digging into the problem more from an industry perspective or an existing application perspective, or just the perspective of finding user input. You can also use a large language model to ask questions at this point and do some secondary sort of quasi-primary research. Focus on fixing confusion, improving hierarchy, clarifying copy, etc. And again, use that feedback from day 2. Refactor. So you could move into a high fidelity design from yesterday's concepts for day 4, or you could, if you're doing the standalone, you just take an existing high fidelity design and refactor it. Think about its usability, clarity, hierarchy, accessibility, affordance. Make changes to simplify or improve the user experience. Make a handful of improvements with a before and after note detailing sort of why you did this. And so if this is your design from improvement on designs from day 3, it could be an opportunity to do a couple of high fidelity designs, but you could also find an app that's similar to the one that you're improving and try some refactoring of that user interface. Could be an option if you're looking for something quick and direct. And then day 5, showcase. Present your before and after design. So show where you started with your sketches and show the finals. If you did refactoring, show the early one, show your final. Talk about some of the things that you learned over the past 5 days from day 1 to day 5 that led you to making the decisions that you did to land on this final concept. And this should be a professional presentation of sort of your iteration story. This could be a video, it could be a deck, it could be a number of different things, but just showing how you got from point A to point B and all the rationalization behind why you did that. You can tell a deeper narrative if you want to practice agency work. You can practice maybe a slightly more shallow narrative if you're looking to focus on sort of daily or weekly or monthly sort of scrum work. Good luck with this week, and I look forward to seeing everyone's output.